I'm State Representative Lou Lang, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're going to see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. Glad you could be with us today. With me today are two people who are running for office right now. First is Village of Skokie Mayor George Van Dusen, who is running for election this coming April of the year 2001. And with me also is Michele Bromberg, who's running for Village Trustee. Welcome to the show, and I'm glad you could be with us.
Thanks for having me, Rabbi.
Mayor, you have been mayor of Skokie for 2 years now, but you weren't elected mayor. How did you become mayor of the Village of Skokie?
Well, our previous mayor, Jacqueline Gorell, retired, and the village board then elected me to serve out her remaining 2 years.
Now, was this election because you were in seniority, or was this because they were looking for somebody who was interested in running for mayor and they had to make a decision?
Well, it was because I was available and I wanted the job, and I think it's because they felt that I was qualified for it. I'd been on the village board since 1984, so I had 15 years of experience in the village. And
you joined the board as a trustee? You ran for trustee and were elected as a trustee?
That's right.
Uh-huh. What is the job of a trustee in the Skokie Village Board? What does a trustee do?
Well, a trustee is there are 6 trustees, and they vote on village policy. They help in the formulation of the budget, the most important document that we put together. That document creates the philosophy for the next year for the entire village, because it allocates the village's tax money and resources into all of the different areas, public works, fire, police, etc. So the trustees do that. Also, the trustees pass on all land use decisions. Such
as commercial,
residential, light industry. We have a light industry district in the village as well.
You yourself, as a trustee, were you involved in many landmark decisions that people who know Skokie would be familiar with?
Well, I was the trustee who was chiefly responsible for the creation of our recycling program. And actually, Skokie has become the model for recycling.
The main recycling center is on Oakton, is that correct? Where's the main recycling center? I'm trying to think.
Well, at one point there was one on Oakton Street, but that closed. We have a contract with Groot, but ours is the most comprehensive recycling program on the North Shore.
This is where people put out their bins of recyclable material and they get collected.
Well, that's the residential.
Residential.
But we also have a mandatory commercial recycling, and we also offer recycling for our multifamily units as well.
Interesting.
So ours is a ours is a comprehensive recycling program. It's one of the very few in the state of Illinois, as a matter of fact.
Does the Skokie government, the village government, do they have a check and balance system such as the village trustees will come up with a budget for something and the mayor has to sign it off to agree to it? How does it work as far as the mayor's position in dealing with the trustees when they come up with budgets like this?
Well, we have the council manager form of government, professional government. The mayor and the board of trustees hire the manager. He's a professional, has an education in public administration. Our manager, for example, has a master's degree in public administration, 20-some years in the business. He formally proposes the budget to the village board. We hold a series of hearings. This next year we'll have 4 hearings. They get to be quite lengthy at times, and we go through all of the items in the budget as the manager has proposed them, and we accept it, we amend it, sometimes we add to the budget. There are items that come up that some of the trustees feel are very important. For example, 3 years ago, when we were considering the budget, one of our trustees felt it was important that we begin to do a marketing program for the village. There was sentiment on the board that we have a very good thing going in Skokie. It's a wonderful community. A report just came out as an example. Housing values in the village went up 11.5% in just the last 2 years. Who
Since
knows
you've been
that?
mayor.
Since I've been mayor. I'm singularly responsible for that. As I tell the village employees, 3 out of the 4 years I promised them that I will tell the truth and I will give them the credit for the good job. But once out of every 4 years, the trustees and I will take complete credit. And I leave it up to people to imagine which year that is. But anyway, the manager proposes the budget. And in this one instance, one of the trustees proposed that we go into a marketing program. And we had a lengthy discussion, asked the manager to create a report, and we now are in the second year of a 5-year comprehensive marketing program. So that's just an example of the give and take on the Board of Trustees. But we have always worked very cooperatively. We don't work with any hostility. We don't let personalities get in the way.
Is there identification with a party system in Skokie, such as Democratic and Republican, or do people run as independents?
No, we have a local party, which is the Skokie Caucus Party. Michele and I are both running on the Skokie Caucus Party slate. It's an established party. It's been in existence since the early 1960s.
Can you tell me, is there an opposing party or opposing individuals? What is the opposing party?
The opposing party is called the Community Vision Party.
Interesting.
And they have a full slate of candidates.
Interesting. Michele, this is the first time you're running for office. You're running for village trustee. How did you get involved, and what is your interest in becoming a public official and being a village trustee? I mean, you could be appointed mayor if Mayor Van Dusen is elected in this, and he's here for another 4 years. If he retires in 3 years, let's say, you could be appointed if you get. What is your interest?
Well, I started with the Hadassah Nurses Council, and they taught me how to go to Washington, D.C. and to lobby, and I met a lot of people there that were very encouraging, and from there, my interest just blossomed.
And you expect if you're elected as a village trustee to really make this an important part of your life and have a lot of say in what's going on in the future of Skokie?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, one of the nice things about being a village trustee is we're a community of about 60,000. I'm hoping that the census is going to show that we'll be around 63,000, but nevertheless, you're one of only 6 people out of 60,000 who will have a primary say in the direction that the village is going to take. It's a great responsibility that
Let me go back because you made a statement. My next question was going to be, how many trustees are there, and how many people besides the mayor and the trustees are involved in decision making?
Well, we have 6 village trustees, and we have a village clerk, and then there's the mayor in addition. And those are the elected positions. Right. We have a corporation counsel who's the lawyer for the village, and we have a village manager, and then obviously a staff.
In your 2 years as mayor since you took over, can you tell me what have you accomplished? You know, you jumped into someone else's position. Obviously, you know, you had interest in doing that because you wanted to make a mark in the village of Skokie. What have you done in the last 2 years that you know, you'd say, vote for me, I'm qualified to be mayor?
Well, I've completed the 10-year economic redevelopment plan that we created, and I was instrumental in the creation of that program. I worked very closely with Mayor Gorell. I chaired the committee, in fact, that made the agreement that redid Old Orchard. Part of that 10-year economic redevelopment program was we have frozen the village levy for 10 consecutive years now. We've completed that program, and I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we've added the commercial recycling. We have now completed our flood relief program, an $80 million flood relief program for the entire village. We've also gone into solid waste. I'm chairman of the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County. We just won a case before the U.S. Supreme Court, and I'm hoping that we're going to be able to site our landfill once the agency is able to site the landfill, we estimate we'll be able to save the 23 municipalities in the neighborhood of $90 million.
Wow.
So it's been very active. We also received a grant to extend the Skokie Swift, so we will be studying that over the next year. And those are a few of the things.
Amazing. I was thinking about this as I was coming here tonight to see you, that you are bordered by so many cities, and I'm just going to, in my mind, just think about Lincolnwood, Evanston, Glenview, Wilmette, Niles, Morton Grove. You have all these cities around you. There must be a lot of cooperative work that goes on the borders of these cities between you and the mayors and presidents of the villages and the cities around you. Do you do a lot of interaction with these people in your daily work?
If I didn't know better, I would have thought that I planted the question. There was an organization called the Northwest Municipal Conference.
I don't want to forget Chicago.
Which we work very closely with Mayor Daley. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting coming up with Mayor Daley to discuss a cooperative legislative package that we're going to be doing in Springfield this next year. No, but we all work very closely together. We're all members of the Northwest Municipal Conference, and we work together on a whole series of things. Just one primary example. You probably saw recently that we had some visitors from Wisconsin, the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, yes.
As soon
that
as
question was going to come up, so go ahead.
As soon as it broke, the mayors of Evanston and Morton Grove and Glenview and Wilmette and others called me, because we all know each other, and I've worked for years with them, and offered their assistance. Both they offered their assistance from a tactical point of view, security forces if we needed it, moral support. We held our own rally. We had about 1,400 people attend the rally, and people from Evanston and Morton Grove and Glenview. That's right, Peace and Harmony rally. And we had representatives from every one of the surrounding communities, and what they all said to us was, we're in this with you, and we work together, and we enjoy the same philosophy of life as you do, and we want to be a part of this, so we brought them in.
And I don't know if our viewers know, but you are Jewish, and my question to you is this. When the Ku Klux Klan applied for this permit, obviously your legal counsel had to make the decision whether they were legally able to do this. You didn't make the decision. Do you have any say in the matter? Would you have been able to, in any way, as the mayor, nix this rally that they made?
Well, it's a very good question. It's one that's been bandied about a great deal in the Jewish community. We could not. In 1978, Frank Collin and the Nazis sought to march in Skokie.
That's the famous movie Skokie was made about that march.
Exactly. And out of that case came landmark law. The village of Skokie lost the case in the federal appeal court, and that decision was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court. And it said very simply, nobody can be denied a permit for public assembly. We had argued in the 78 case that the sheer presence of brown shirts would cause irreparable psychological damage to the survivors who lived in Skokie.
Of the Holocaust.
Of the Holocaust, because of their dreadful experience. The court struck that down. That had actually been a theory from a 1941 case. The prevailing law now is, if they apply, they have to be given the permit. And the first thing I did after the permit application was made was I called the former corporation counsel who handled the 1978 case, and we had a very long meeting, and a very close friend of mine, I said, Harvey, what can I do? And he said, well, you can't do what we tried to do in 78. Said, what you got to do is you've got to permit them to do it. Now, the property was county property, so it technically was not the village of Skokie's decision, but it's county philosophy in conformity with federal law to give these permits. The Klan had done a similar thing in Rolling Meadows, and the county had given the permit. What we decided to do was to discourage people from attending the Klan rally, and instead to come to our rally, which was a Peace and Harmony rally, where we thought we would be able to show the true Skokie spirit.
Very nice, very nice. Michele, you have now come to run for this election, which will take place. What have you done publicly in public life that you might want to have a say in what's going on? Have you been involved in any groups, any lobbies or anything like that in Skokie?
Well, not in Skokie, but I was in Springfield lobbying for Nurses Week, dealing with nurses' issues, women's health issues, and in Washington, D.C., like I mentioned, with the Hadassah Nurses Council, lobbying for women's issues, health issues,
and
issues in Israel.
As a professional nurse, which is what you do for a living, and as a teacher, because I know you teach nursing as well, will this cut into your profession as a nurse while you are working as a trustee as well?
No, I think it'll enhance my teaching and enhance my working as a nurse, give me a more of a well-rounded idea of what people are looking for.
You, Mayor, were a trustee for a number of years. That's a part-time position for all the trustees, is that not correct?
That's correct.
So what were you doing before you became mayor? Because now it's a full-time position, I presume.
Yes, as my wife says, it's full-time work for part-time pay. But it is,
all of us do that, by the way.
Right.
Yes, we do. I worked for 26 years as a senior aide to Congressman Sidney R. Yates.
The late Sidney
the late
Yates,
Sidney Yates.
memory.
I actually went to work for him while I was in graduate school. I was just finishing up my PhD, and it was right after the 1972 election. I was hired in February of '73, and he said to me, I want you to make sure that you get the dissertation written. And I said, well, I will. And he said, no. He says, I'm really serious about that because I don't want your mother calling me and saying, why hasn't George finished his dissertation? So, and he did. He was very good. He would call me periodically. And when he hired me, he said, well, this will be just for 1 year, and at the end of that time, why don't we sit down and talk, and we'll see whether you really want to stay or not. And so on my 20th anniversary, he called me and said, you know, I missed that first talk. I think you and I ought to sit down and talk about your future. And I said, well, I've been with you 20 years. I think my future is behind me. But it was a very, very enjoyable experience. He was a wonderful man to work for. I learned a great deal about the operation of government. He showed me how to conduct oneself in public life. And of course, he was a master of the legislative process. And it was a pure pleasure as both an academic and as a minor practitioner to watch a master at work. So I was very happy to have the opportunity to become mayor and kind of emulate him a little bit.
You know, by coincidence and not set up in this way, as you brought Michele here and to be on the show with me, I've known Michele, I've known her family since we were children, and I just met you, and I know Michele is a hard worker and qualified and has a lot of goals to reach in life, as she's reached so many so far in her life. What are your goals as mayor in the next 4 years, if you are elected to continue on as mayor?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to do that we've already laid the framework for is work on our transportation network. Need to extend the Skokie Swift northward to the village borders. We need more rapid transit on the north end of town. We just secured this past year a $24 million commitment from the federal government and from the Illinois Department of Transportation to do a lot of resurfacing of a lot of our major streets in the village, redo a lot of our signalization. Also, we're studying, and at the time of the budget this year, we are going to take up the issue of a comprehensive transportation program designed specifically for senior citizens. I think it's time that we moved into a program where the seniors in the village will have a program that is tailored specifically to their needs. And a year ago, I told the manager that I wanted the staff to begin to study it, do some focus groups, find out what seniors want, what they don't want, what price range they might be willing to pay, and then how would we create the program. It's going to be a very expensive program initially, at least, but I think we got to do it, and it's an important program. And then we have just normal transportation issues that I think we need to take care of. So that's one area that I want to concentrate on over the next 4 years. Also, we're very fortunate. Our public safety agencies literally are the best in the country. We have a fully accredited police department, only one of a handful in the country. Our fire department has a insurance services rating of #1 and is fully accredited. That makes us only one of 3 municipalities in the entire country to have that. Our health department is fully certified. I think there are only 5 in the state that have that recognition. Our public works, we're hoping will get their certification in the next year or two. When they do, we'll be the only municipality in the entire country to have police, fire, health, and public works fully certified. And I'm dedicated to getting all of that done as well. And I want to take a look a little bit at our 911 service. I think we have the best there is, but there might be some new technology that we might be able to take advantage of.
Wonderful. You know, everything you're saying sounds wonderful, and you sound very qualified. You speak very eloquently, and I know you've accomplished a lot in the past 2 years in your journey of being mayor. Let's go into some of the things that people say about Skokie that might not be taken as so positive, if you wouldn't mind. Sure. For example, the snowstorm of December of 1999, snow removal on streets such as Howard from, for example, McCormick to Skokie Boulevard, or on Dempster, seem to be lacking in the quality of, where the streets, the lanes were very thin still. They wasn't pushed off to the side of the streets enough, and very dangerous when people especially tried to pass in certain places, make left turns. Why didn't Skokie do a better job on snow removal in those areas?
Well, the streets you're mentioning are not village streets.
Meaning what?
Certain streets are owned and operated entirely by the state of Illinois. Dempster, for example, comes under the sole jurisdiction of the state of Illinois.
So Illinois State Snow Removal will remove the snow, not Skokie?
That's right. Howard Street comes under the jurisdiction of the county. And Howard Street is a special item, however, because it doesn't have curbs and gutters, and that presents special snow removal problems. We will be doing this next year as part of that transportation plan that I was just talking about. We are going to redo the entire Howard Street area from McCormick all the way westward to, I think it's Niles Center Road. And we will be putting in curbs and gutters. We'll be putting in cuts for where cars can park. Be a total improvement. And I think the snow removal, as a consequence, will be better. It'll be easier to do because you're not going to have the gravel on the side. It's very hard for these trucks to get down Howard Street. Dempster is always a problem. The state of Illinois has a couple 100,000 miles in the entire state of Illinois, and when there is a snow problem, they try and get to all the streets, but obviously they can't do it like we do. The village of Skokie, we have ourselves responsibility for around 145 miles of surface that we have to take care of. We do it 2 and 3 and 4 times. The state of Illinois tries to get through once if they can. So part of it is the jurisdiction and what they have to do.
Well, you got your guys off the hook. Because I don't think the public knows that. I think they say, why is it like this in Skokie? And,
right.
and they wouldn't have no idea that those streets aren't the responsibility of Skokie.
Well, and the other thing is, this last year, we had 3 significant snow events in 6 days. We had our crews on 16-hour shifts, and in fact, most of them weren't even leaving Skokie to go home. They were staying in the village and resting there. Originally, we actually had many of them resting at the Public Works Department, but because they were 16-hour shifts around the clock, they couldn't get any rest. So we finally just put them up somewhere so they could get some rest. But at one point, I actually went to the manager and said I was getting concerned that for 2 weeks those guys were working 16-hour shifts, 7 days. Remember, they pick up garbage. Our public works crews pick up our garbage, unlike other municipalities. And we plow the sidewalks. I don't know any other municipality in the North Shore that actually plows the sidewalks. So we do the streets, the alleys. Once that's done, then we, of course, have to pick up the garbage, and we then plow the sidewalks. So when you get 3 significant snow events in 6 days, that puts a real strain on the system. So I'm very proud of what the guys did. It wasn't perfect. I field the phone calls from people calling in complaining, and I certainly sympathize. But overall, I think they did the best job that was humanly possible. As I told one gentleman, it wasn't perfect, but it's an imperfect art.
Absolutely. If I could ask you to do this in a minute or so, if you could give me a reason or a little mini commercial without being a real commercial, tell me why people should move to Skokie, why people should stay in Skokie who are living there and not move away. What is it about Skokie that makes it a special place to live?
One of the reasons is diversity. It's an exciting place. If you enjoy the world, you're going to enjoy Skokie. We have 68 nationalities there. We all get along together. We literally live in peace and harmony. Matter of fact, we celebrate it in several different ways. We have a festival of cultures every year. This last year, we had well over 20,000 people come to that weekend event. And we live together, and we feel for each other. When Ricky Birdsong was shot, that was an attack on every single one of us, not just an attack on Mr. Birdsong. It was an attack on all of us.
It came close to home by me. The 16-year-old boy that was shot in that same shooting was my student. So
is that right?
Yeah, so it was very close to home. And then one of my colleagues, who is a counselor at the school that I work at during the day, was also shot. So it was very close to home for all of us. You know, it was wonderful how everyone stuck together. I thought it was wonderful, and I thought the support from the city, from the village of Skokie, was wonderful for all the people involved as well.
Well, we have the best amenities you can ask for. Twice a week garbage pickup. We plow the sidewalks. We have excellent schools, public and private. So we're in our property values are the best.
Wonderful. It's a great place. Listen, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I wish you so much success. I think you sound and seem to be so qualified to continue in your position as mayor. I want to thank you, Mayor George Van Dusen of the Village of Skokie, for being with us. I want to thank you, Michele Bromberg, potential village trustee in the next election. I wish you success in your bid for election. And I want to thank you, all our viewers, for being with us here on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Remember, we're on every week at this very same time. So be with us again next time. Shalom.
It must be you.